To understand what I'm about to tell you, you need to do something first. You need to believe in the impossible. Can you do that?
What do you desire that you can't have?
Now you should at least give a brother a moment to say something heroically clever.
You have failed this city.
So I have this thing with rolls?
Just the end of the world.
There's about a dozen ways that I could stop you right now. But I don't think I have to.
You're the boy from the circus.
I started up a security firm.
Finally, a superhero team I can actually get behind.
In the future, my friends may not be heroes, but if we succeed, they will be remembered as legends.
Welcome to the DC TV report for the week ending Saturday, December 28th, 2019. I'm Laletti O'Hare.
And I'm Sarah Netzley, academic by day, writer by night.
We're here to bring you recaps, news, and commentary for all live-action television shows based on DC Comics.
And we have no new episodes this week, and it was awesome!
We do have a retro pick, though.
Yeah, and that was awesome!
So yeah, this is like the first time in months that we had a free week.
And thank goodness, because it's a busy week with the holidays and the, run up to the holidays and the recovering from the holidays. So
yes. We hope everyone had a Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, and I guess you're still in the middle of Hanukkah right now, right?
So you better be currently having a good Hanukkah, I guess.
And gearing up for New Year's. So there's not a lot to discuss. But
we're going to discuss what we have.
Yeah. There's not a lot of news. We do have the retro pick. And just to cap things off, we've decided to reveal our top 10 last minute reveals from 2019.
And I gotta say, this comes from your labor, because you're the one who writes those episode descriptions. So it was really fun for me to get to go back and look at all the Ed interpreted last minute reveals that we had in 2019.
Yes, and I will say this list was curated, and the top 10 were chosen by our executive producer Bill Sweeney.
Although we at least narrowed for him, so it's we didn't just turn him loose. We kind of
yes, we narrowed, and then he selected the top 10 and the order. Of course, he did not number them in the email, so I had to text him to make sure.
Did he think that we would know? Is he an up to down guy or a down to up guy?
Well, I mean, evidently he put it in descending order, so 10 first, and then
that's how I would do it.
Yeah, and he threw in his own little comments with each one, so that will be fun to get to later in the show. Yeah. So any reports from the front?
Just that I am very excited because my New Year's plans this year involve going to a Roaring Twenties party, and everybody's dressing in like fringe and flapper and pearls, and all the husbands have Peaky Blinders caps and arm garters, and I'm making a pineapple upside down cake. We're gonna have Jell-O molds. It's gonna be lit. Party like it's the 20s. Let's forget what happened to the Wall Street situation, and it's Great Depression dancing on our own downfall. It's gonna be great.
Yeah,
history's not gonna repeat itself. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, we're gonna play Jay-Z. It's gonna be great.
How about you? Do anything fun?
I am really looking forward to having a quiet evening at my parents' place with a big plate of nachos.
That also sounds amazing.
So yeah, that's that. Wow. All right. You ready to, since we don't have any episodes, we're going to go straight into the news. So let's start with news for DC shows.
Yeah, here is the DC shows on CW. Let's see, we can start with some of the mid-season ratings updates. The most watched show on the CW for the Arrowverse was The Flash, followed by Batwoman, followed by Supergirl, with Arrow and Black Lightning bringing up the rear. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Batwoman, getting a lot more eyeballs than the others, presumably newness.
Yeah, the newer shows tend to get better ratings, which is really good, because somehow the way they sketch things out, the longer you're on the air, the less budget you have for your episodes, so to make up for the dwindling ratings. So yeah, the fact that Batwoman's number 2 speaks very well for them getting a second season.
Yep. Yeah, and I suppose Arrow being as low as it is means it's bowing at the right time, I guess.
Yeah. Makes me a little worried about Black Lightning though. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We'll see if that picks up later in the year, or picks up in 2020.
Yeah, so that's that. Let's see. The storyline with Kate and Bruce, the Alt-Earth Bruce, is going to haunt Kate moving forward after the crossover. There, but for the grace of God goes she. This could happen to her if she goes down that path. And it's going to be her friendship with Kara that kind of pulls her back from the brink moving forward. So that's sort of a foretaste of what's to come with those two characters in those two shows, which I thought was kind of cool based on what happened with Crisis. And a little bit of trivia, that scene between Lex and the Monitor, of the Monitor sort of bringing him back to life, they actually filmed that in the season 4 finale time period, because that takes place in the season 4 finale timeline there. They weren't sure if the Warner Brothers was going to give them permission to have Lex appear in Crisis, so they had it just in case, and they ended up getting to use it, which I thought was kind of cool little trivia. And what are we here for if not cool little trivia?
Yeah, that is great. Also, if they had not been able to use Lex, can you imagine? To have Supergirl fans riot the Warner Brothers studios, the Warner Brothers executive offices for John Cryer. I think
you don't want to see Supergirl fans rioting. It's not pretty. Not pretty at all. Nope. But they would have. What would they have? Lex is such a big antagonist. It would have really changed the shape of the. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. All right. Mm-hmm. The other bit of news we have this week is for Titans. I can't say it the way you do it. Titans. Connor Leslie, thank you, the actress who plays Donna Troy, was doing an interview for the DC Daily, and she basically said, well, we haven't done the Troya storyline yet, so I guess Donna Troy's coming back.
Ooh. Sarah, do you know what happens in the Troya storyline?
Super don't.
Well, I have not read it, but I do know the basic gist of it, which is that Donna Troy comes back from the dead and starts calling herself Troya.
Troya the Destroyer?
Where my
glow fans at?
Because Wonder Woman is still around, and there was another Wonder Girl at the time. So, Troya. It could work. Her costume is really cool because it's like black, and she's got the bracelets, and it almost looks like there's a starry sky.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's nice. There's a Legion of Superheroes character who's kind of got like the same thing going on with his costume. So we'll see. We'll see.
So it's not a Dark Phoenix thing. It's not a.
I believe there's some type of mysticism involved. So, the fact that we've got aliens coming up next season, they may go a different route, but we still have Raven. So, and Raven did go with her body to Themyscira. Am I right?
She did.
She did. So my guess is going to be some magic and mysticism and witchcraft involved.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. But so spoilers for next season.
Yeah.
All right, and that's all the news, right?
Yeah, that's it. It was a slow week.
All right. Well, I guess that now for a retro pick, and it's fitting we were talking about Donna Troy because our retro pick is Wonder Woman, Season 1, Episode 4. Beauty on Parade. Steve and Diana were assigned to investigate a series of bombings on military bases believed to be targeting the radar scanner. Diana decided to gather intel by going undercover as a contestant in the Miss G.I. Dream Girl beauty contest at Fort Russell. Last minute reveal, Diana promised Steve he would be around when she gets tired of missing all the fun.
All right, I've met Steve Trevor. Chris Pine is... You, sir, are no Chris Pine, Steve Trevor. How dare you, sir? How dare you disrespect Diana?
First off, this episode aired October 13th, 1976.
This was my first exposure to the Wonder Woman TV show. I don't know how I wasn't alive when it was airing, but it's not something I ever kind of caught while growing up in reruns or whatever they had back then. This was wild. This was exactly as cheesy and kind of sexist as I expected, and I loved it. It was great. The opening credits were perfect.
Oh, yes. I love the animation on the opening credits. Just to quickly go through the main cast, Linda Carter as Diana Prince, Wonder Woman.
She holds up. I think she plays.
Yes, I think she is the one thing about this show that still plays. That Lyle Waggoner as Major Steve Trevor. Other series regulars included Richard Eastham as General Phil Blankenship and Beatrice Colin as Etta Candy.
I gotta say, Lyle Waggoner for a heartthrob name, not working for me. Not doing it.
Hey, in the 70s, actually probably more like the 50s, but this series was developed for television by Stanley Ralph Ross. This episode was written by Ron Friedman and directed by Richard Kinnan. Among the big guest stars in here are Anne Francis, William Lanto, Bobby Van, and the great Dick Van Patten. You remember Dick Van Patten, Sarah?
Vaguely. He's one of those guys from the 70s TV stuff that sort of blends together in my brain pan. What do you know him from?
Well, I mean, most popularly he was on 8 is Enough. I remember him as the Abbot from Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Solid. That's solid.
Yes, but he's one of those comedians from the golden age of television who was just in everything. He was just you had to include him in at least one episode of your show before you finished your run. I kind of refer to him as like the discount the bargain basement bin Don Rickles, because the humor is similar, but his zingers are nowhere near as lethal as Rickles.
Funny.
So evidently there's a radar scanner that they're trying to protect. And all right, Sarah, I'm going to let you take the lead on I mean, you've already kind of alluded to it, but let's talk about Steve's relationship with Diana compared to his relationship with Wonder Woman.
Okay, so I'm super torn because I appreciate a man who's not gross about his assistant, right? Like, it's nice that Steve isn't all hubba. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to be a lecherous man. So, it's good. He respects her. But we got to the point where he was like, no, that's going to take a beautiful girl. Get out of here, you hot garbage. Get out of here. Steve, Trevor, what is you doing, baby? What?
Yeah. I mean, at that point,
even if he's being respectful of his assistant, you gotta dial it back. Like,
I mean, they want to play up the Clark Kent dynamic where it's like, there is no way Diana Prince is Wonder Woman. Have you met her?
Woof, am I right? What?
Yeah. And the only thing ugly about Linda Carter in that scene is that hat she's wearing.
Because, I mean, she makes the glasses work. She pulls that off. She's Linda Carter.
Yeah.
So that was, and I mean, I understand what they're doing. I appreciate it, but it was you're standing in front of the most beautiful woman I have ever seen, being like, I don't know, but they really need an attractive girl for this. So what?
And then, of course, whenever Wonder Woman shows up, Steve Trevor's immediately like, "Oh, she is too much." Oh, she's gonna save me in such a beautiful package.
Those gams, am I right?
Oh my god! And when she's practicing for the beauty contest in that wig,
Oh god, I love that she shows up and is like, I would like to compete. All right, you gotta dance first. Really? Is that?
Well, first off, she just waltzes onto the stage. Not even like they're in the middle of a dance routine, and she just walks right past everyone straight to the piano, like she owns the place.
To be fair, she does.
Yes. And then later on, when she's rehearsing with Etta, and Steve walks in and sees her and is like, "Wow, Diana, I had no idea."
Did you really not?
No, here's the best. You remind me of Joan Crawford. It's the ankles.
This was a delight. Oh my god. Did women dress like that in the 40s? That felt really risque. I'm not certainly a clothing expert through the eras, but that felt a little risque for ladies in the 40s. Were they doing that? Ed, are you up on women's fashions from bygone eras?
I can only tell you from I have seen a lot of movies from the 40s. And yes, that was
okay.
Right. You know, I mean, that is that's kind of how Joan Crawford did dress. You know, and usually when you see, you know, actresses like Ava Gardner and Rita Hayworth, yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I will take it. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I did not love the bitches, am I right, of it all, with everybody just like catfighting all the time.
Oh.
But I did enjoy the mix of personalities. This is like Miss Congeniality owes them.
Oh yeah. There's a lawsuit. There's a lawsuit here.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure there's probably like 12 other shows that did this exact same storyline.
Don't care.
Because this is the point where like storyline just got recycled over and over again. But like it is way too close to the fact that you have someone going undercover. And it turns out
you've got the kind of the contest organizer who's scheming with another contest organizer.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the Candice Bergen and you got the William Shatner and it was all there.
Yeah. It's like, wow. And not only that, the other thing that's a direct is the bad guy's name at the end. The contest organizer who's behind the piano, who turns out to be the big bad for the episode. Is his character's name is Monty Burns.
Uh-huh. Guess who else owes some royalties?
Simpsons. The Simpsons. Once again, Disney steals from Warner Brothers. I don't know.
Yeah. So I think a highlight for me was when, I forget which of the bad guys, I guess Monty Burns, shoved one of the women into the magic box and just disappeared her. That's one way to handle it. I don't think it works that way, but okay. The low light of the episode was for sure one of the fellows Wonder Woman rescued being like, I wonder if you can cook. Oh, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, Ralph.
Really? You weren't scared off by the double jointed contestant? The contortionist?
That was the most attention I've seen Jason pay to TV all week.
Then, of course, Dick Van Patten going, how about that double-jointed baby doll? Oh.
I assume she was auditioning to be Ragdoll on The Flash. That's all that was.
And we did get some good action here. You know, she's tossing around cars. Someone fired a bazooka.
We weren't sure if she was going to catch that with her lasso, but honestly, catching it with her bare hands was even better.
Yeah. Now, last week when we watched Lois and Clark, Sarah, you mentioned how slow that TV was. Well, this is 20 years earlier, and did it feel slower to you?
You know, it didn't, weirdly. I don't know why I was critical of Lois and Clark, but not this one. But this one felt paced. No, the pace was bananas. It didn't bother me the way it did with Lois and Clark, and yet you're right, it was slow.
But you see, maybe it's just because I've watched so many. Because I was raised on Nick at Night and the Sci-Fi Channel, which is all reruns of stuff from 20 years before I was born. So I'm used to this pacing. So it doesn't bother me at all. It kind of feels like a warm blanket.
Well, and maybe, I mean, I watched a lot of the Nick at Night stuff too, so maybe that's it. I just kind of understood the pacing there, but Lois and Clark feels more modern to me, so it should have been a little more, jump, cut, flash, pow, punch.
Yeah.
Maybe that was it.
Also, Lois and Clark.
Maybe it was just Wonder Woman. Maybe it was just, I was just so dazzled by Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Also, Lois and Clark by the end was famous for kind of skimping out on special effects, because Dean Cain had the cape out. You didn't see him fly as much. He would just like move his cape and walk off camera. But I thought the stunt work here was great. You could definitely tell when they were stunt actors versus real actors. But that's fine.
I feel like I would have, knowing what we know about the Wonder Woman creator, makes all the lasso work just a little bit sexier. Like, yeah, we see you. We see you, sir.
Yeah, it's weird because I mean, and they credited as Wonder Woman was created by Charles Moulton, even though the person's name was William Moulton Marston. Which is an interesting choice. I guess he had two different names. But yeah, I thought this was a fun episode.
Honestly, it made me want to figure out the episode where Steve finds out who she is, because that level of cluelessness would be fun to see punctured. So it does make me want to watch more, honestly. And what good is a retro pick if not for that?
Yeah, and he would definitely his head would explode.
Yes, and I kind of want to see it. Also, this is my 2019 reading, but Diana getting an eye full of all those contestants arriving and being like, they certainly are beautiful. Yep. Amazonian bisexuality confirmed.
Oh, and General Eisenhower shows up. How's that for a surprise?
Not Eisenhower.
First, I like the idea that in 1942, there would be anyone in this man's army who didn't know who Eisenhower was.
I like Eisenhower just turning up for a really random beauty contest.
Don't forget the radar scanner.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, of course.
The MacGuffin, the MacGuffiniest of MacGuffins.
So this was a delight, and I'm so glad we did it.
All right. So that's, I think we're good on Wonder Woman. I guess, now do you want to do winner of the week now, or do you want to do the top 10 first?
We could do, you know what? We're going to close with it. We always close with winner of the week. Let's close with winner of the week.
Yeah. So, okay. All right. So then let's jump to our top 10.
And I'm excited because Mr. Bill Sweeney did not reply all on this. He just replied Ed. So I haven't seen these.
Ooh, okay. So this is our top 10 last minute reveals of 2019. We've combed through every episode, and there were a lot of episodes. We had like, we had something like 17 shows that were on the air. And combing through, these were the top 10. With some comments from our executive producer, Bill Sweeney, who decided on the official order. Sarah, are you ready for number 10?
Yes.
Number 10 is Titans. Season 2, Episode 6, Connor. Last minute reveal. After saving Jason Todd, Connor was shot in the chest, and someone put a kryptonite collar on Crypto.
This is a good choice. I was mind blown.
Yes.
I was blind blown by that. That was great.
Bill's comment, would Ed have preferred this the other way around? The collar on Connor and the dog shot. For my own best interests, I would like to invoke my Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination.
Ed hates dogs.
No, but
and for the record, Sarah would like to see the collar. You know what? We're gonna move past this.
So yeah, I thought this was a great episode. Titans did a lot of like one-off bottle stuff where we're just going to follow a character and their backstory and how they got there. That was completely, I feel like they did that more than they did like straight up episodes of the series this season.
This was my favorite episode of Titans this season and might have been, it's probably top 10 favorite episode of DC TV this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was a good one.
Yeah. All right. Number 9, Pennyworth. Season 1, Episode 7, Julie Christie. Last minute reveal, Dr. Gaunt addressed the Raven Society, and Alfred's father was among the cheering audience.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, Mr. Pennyworth.
Bill's thoughts, I didn't see this episode, but oh, great twist. If only my dad was half as interesting.
I didn't see this episode. Did Bill not watch Pennyworth? Huh.
I mean, he might not have gotten up to episode 7. I think this is what we're finding out. But see, that's the thing. When he executive produces, he doesn't have to watch all the shows we do. Yeah. And so the Ravens, Pennyworth was such an odd show. We had no idea what this was going to be. I did not have high hopes for the show, and then it came out and I just fell in love with it.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, and they had some great last minute reveals in this show. And for here, a real twist to find out that Alfred's dad is with the bad guys was Mm-hmm. All right, number 8, Swamp Thing. Season 1, Episode 6, The Price You Pay. Last minute reveal, a flower grew out of Swamp Thing's hands and released spores that allowed Abby to see Alec in his old body.
I shipped them so hard.
Bill, just so it's clear, fellas, always get consent before ejecting your spores on a lady.
Thank you, Bill, for being an ally.
And yeah, that was. I mean, Swamp Thing was a great show. That we will sorely miss. But this was probably the best last moment of a show. Where you clearly know where the next episode is going to go, but that real emotional impact of her getting to see him in his human form again. Number 7, Doom Patrol. Season 1, Episode 7, Therapy Patrol. Last minute reveal. Earlier in the day, Admiral Whiskers, with Mr. Nobody's encouragement, crawled into the hole in Cliff's arm to take revenge.
Yeah, it was hard to pick a last minute reveal on Doom Patrol because they were all very strange.
Yes. And Bill, this show is a drunken fever dream, and I miss it. Yeah, and that was an incredible show to decide, okay, we're going to have an episode that at the end, the big bad guy is a mouse. And to have that be what, because you don't understand why Cliff is going crazy, why Robot Man is going crazy, and then to find out that's the reason it happened at the end was like, jeez.
And yet, within the universe that show created, it made sense.
Oh, it made perfect sense. Number 6, Supergirl, Season 4, Episode 17, All About Eve. Last minute reveal, Alex and Lena promised Supergirl that they did not believe she killed a bunch of people in the Oval Office and set the White House on fire. And they would find the person who looks just like Supergirl that did. Bill, once again, didn't see it, but all I can imagine this world's Facebook memes that still don't buy into the other Supergirl conspiracy, man. Just one of those, like, as your attorney, this doesn't look good. Not a great look for my gal, Kara. Number 5, Preacher series finale, End of the World. Last minute reveal, at Jesse and Tulip's graves, Cassidy said goodbye to their daughter and walked into the burning sun.
Yeah, that was a genuine surprise.
And to me, it seems so fitting. Bill's thoughts, not a perfect finality, but hit all the sentiments right. Probably could have not cast her as her own daughter, though. I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't mind that. I don't know. Sometimes I like that when you cast someone as their own kid. Kind of like on Quantum Leap, where Scott Bakula played his own father. I don't know. It didn't.
I understood why they did it, but yeah, a different casting might have been interesting. But in the amount of time they had to tell that story, that little scene, I get why they kept it as the same actress.
Mm-hmm. All right, number 4, Doom Patrol season 1, episode 3, Puppet Patrol. Last minute reveal: Steve crawled out of Von Fuchs' lab with his new powers as Animal, Vegetable, Mineral Man.
I love that show so much.
Bill, this guy would make a brilliant object of a round of 20 questions.
Oh, Bill.
And yeah, I mean, just that show was so bonkers. And like, that is a character from the comics. So it did make sense, and it's like, wow, they're actually going to go there. And I also did love how that character kept popping up in the background of episodes throughout the rest of the season. Number 3, Watchmen season 1, episode 7, An Almost Religious Awe. Last minute reveal: after Angela pulled a metal ring out of her husband's smashed-in face, she warned the blue light in front of her that they were in trouble.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Bill,
yes.
A woman smashes her husband's face in, and we're all okay with that. Fine.
We're not just okay with it, we're cheering.
Yeah. I mean, Watchmen, I mean, definitely the most prestige show that we covered this year. And yeah, I mean, a lot of great moments in that show, but that was the one reveal that really pulled everything together. And yeah, what was great about that was that you had all of these secrets, but then you find out that your main character's been hiding a secret from you the entire show.
Yeah, that I am still mind blown about how good this show was and how grateful I am that we had it.
All right. Number 2. There's only 2 left, Sarah. Number 2. Crisis on Infinite Earths, Part 3. Last minute reveal: the Paragons found themselves at Vanishing Point, and the older Superman was replaced by Lex Luthor, who had rewritten the Book of Destiny.
I'm mad about it.
Bill shows up to a party he wasn't invited to and rewrites the itinerary. Typical Lex. And
yep.
We talked about this earlier in the news. Who would have thought John Cryer? I mean, that's got to be a big surprise for this year. John Cryer would have made an incredible Lex Luthor.
Yep.
And yeah.
He did.
Yeah, really devious, really pulling from the comics here. Like just how horrible and despicable Lex Luthor is. And yeah, I can't wait to see how he factors in. We got like 3 more weeks until we see the end of Crisis. Oh man. All right, Sarah, are you ready for the number one last minute reveal of 2019?
Yes, hit me.
And I was surprised, but at the same time, not. So, number one, Pennyworth, Season 1, Episode 4, Lady Penelope. Last minute reveal, Alfred raced home to find Esme dead in their apartment.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm sorry this wasn't a visual medium because the triple take I just did was pretty major. Pennyworth? Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, Bill says it's one of the most unexpected things in a year of strong TV. And you know what? I mean, we weren't picking the best episodes, not the best moments, the best last minute reveal. So the best thing that we found out at the very end of an episode. And I gotta tell you, that moment was like one of the few times that like truly, truly shocked me at the end of an episode, that where I had no idea where that series was going to go from there. You know, you thought this was going to be the female lead. This was going to be, you know, the person that we're following with Alfred. For those 4 episodes, she was kind of like the stand-in for the audience. This is how we got to know him. And then to have that suddenly ripped away from you. You know, and now we feel like him totally lost for the rest of the season. I thought it was a very bold choice, and I thought it paid off nicely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I get that. I get where they came from with that.
Mm-hmm.
Good ranking, Bill. Yeah. Good job ranking.
Good job. All right.
Good job, buddy. Good job. Sorry.
All right. So yeah, that's our top 10. I guess now it's time to roll into our winners of the week. Sarah, do you want to go first? Or should I go first?
I mean, please go first.
Okay. So my winner for this week, from the retro pick, of course, I think I mentioned it earlier. It's Dick Van Patten, or the comedian Jack Wood, played by Dick Van Patten, who's great. It's just all shtick. My favorite one-liner came during the pageant after a girl's doing like a dance number, and says, "They'll never replace that one with synthetics." Just like, oh, this is a show in the 70s about the 40s, and you're like, oh man, he just played, yeah. So they gave him that part, and he just went all in with it. Yeah, my winner for this week. Classic TV guest stars, and Dick Van Patten.
I mean, mine's going to be super obvious, but Linda Carter. Linda Carter made a character who I think still works today. I think she was a great Wonder Woman. She was forceful and cheerful and bright, and she did the alter ego secret identity thing. She was a nice reminder that there was a reason that we all had those underoos. You know?
Yeah. And I'm almost kind of surprised that she hasn't shown up in Crisis yet. I'm wondering if, like...
Well, I mean, she is in Supergirl as the former president, so I don't know. But they could very easily recast. I mean, they've been recasting people left and right, so why not keep doing it?
I mean,
so.
we got...
That'd be nice.
Yeah, John Wesley Shipp has played multiple characters. Brandon Routh has played multiple characters. Let's see if Linda Carter's Wonder Woman comes in to help out against the Anti-Monitor in the final showdown. Probably not, but it's something worth hoping for.
I'd be into it.
All right, so Sarah, next week, also no episodes planned, no new episodes anyway. So we get another retro pick, and this one it's going to be our first episode of the year 2020. And I think, Sarah, you're really going to enjoy this one. It's from The Flash, not the current Flash starring Grant Gustin, but the Flash from the early 1990s starring John Wesley Shipp. Which, which was a great show that was just a little too expensive for its time. And we found out, you make that 20 years later and it's much more viable. But that show had a lot of heart, and trying to decide one episode to go with. I'm not going to say anything about this episode. I'm just going to tell you it's season 1, because there's only one season. If you're watching along with us on DC Universe, it's episode number 14. And it's titled Be My Baby.
Does Barry go undercover to a beauty pageant?
No.
Okay.
What I will say, though.
All right.
What I will say, though, Sarah, I'm not going to tell you who. I'm just going to tell you there is a very special guest star in this episode who is very different than the way you imagine that person today. And I'm very interested and excited to hear your thoughts on that guest star.
Awesome. I wonder how long I'm going to hold off watching this episode, because usually I try to do this closer to when we record, but I feel like I'm going to have to do it sooner than that.
I try to watch it twice with the retro picks. I do them once at the beginning of the week and then once at the end of the week. So.
Wait, it's not Howie Mandel, is it?
No, it is not.
Because it would be really funny if you give me nothing but Howie Mandel guest stars on these retro picks.
No. So, I mean, we had Howie Mandel, we had Dick Van Patten. Who's it going to be in The Flash? Who's it going to be?
I don't know. I'm excited.
All right. So yeah. That's Sarah, we did an episode.
We did. Yes, we did.
All right. Yeah, that's the DC TV report for this week. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at Lil Eddie O'Hare.
And I'm at Sarah Netzley, SaraNetzley.
And be sure to follow the show on Twitter at DCTV Report. Send along your emails to dctv@wickedtheory.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our show on your podcast app of choice and rate and review us. That helps more people find us. Check out our sister show, the Wicked Theory Podcast. This has been a Wicked Theory Studios production. Executive producer, Bill Sweeney. Visit us at wickedtheory.com. Shazam, everybody.
Shazam!
Shazam!